The growth extends all the way into the main hinge. We need to escalate this immediately.
In the world of aviation, the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle is often called the king of the skies. With an undefeated combat record of 104 kills and 0 losses, it is a masterpiece of engineering. But even kings can fall into ruin. This is the story of tail number 710290, one of the earliest F-15 prototypes, and its incredible journey from a rotting boneyard carcass to a gleaming museum centerpiece. By the early 2000s, 710290 was a ghost. It wasn't a combat hero. It was a pre-production test aircraft. After its service ended, it was towed to a remote corner of an airbase, stripped of its guts, the engines, the radar, and the cockpit electronics, and left to the mercy of the elements. For nearly 20 years, it sat in the desert heat. Birds nested in the intakes. The iconic Air Superiority blue paint peeled away like dead skin, revealing dull, oxidized aluminum. To most, it was scrap metal. To a small group of dedicated restorers and historians, it was a piece of history that couldn't be allowed to vanish. Restoring a modern fighter jet is not like fixing a vintage car. You can't just buy F-15 parts at a local shop. When the restoration team began, they faced a monumental challenge: the Swiss cheese problem.
Almost there, a little more to the left.
Okay, she's seated. Lock it down.
Because this was a test aircraft, it had been modified hundreds of times. Thousands of tiny holes had been drilled into the airframe for sensors that no longer existed. They used specialized chemicals to strip decades of grime without corroding the thin skin of the aircraft. They had to fabricate custom panels from scratch to cover the gaps where high-tech equipment once sat. The F-15's massive bubble canopy is a single piece of transparency that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. The original was cracked and yellowed. The team spent weeks hand polishing the acrylic with finer and finer grits of sandpaper until it regained its crystal clear optical clarity. One of the most unique aspects of this restoration was the use of 3D printing. Some of the interior cockpit knobs and switch covers for this specific prototype had been out of production for 40 years. Instead of giving up, the team used 3D scanners on a functional F-15 to create digital blueprints. They then printed the missing pieces in resin, painted them to match the original 1970s aesthetic, and snapped them into place. It was a 21st century solution for a 20th century legend.
Helmet secure, oxygen checked, ready for engine start.
As the structural work finished, the question was, what color should it be? They decided to paint it in the colors of the Streak Eagle. In 1975, a stripped-down F-15 broke 8 world time to climb records, reaching 30,000 meters in just over 3 minutes, faster than the Apollo moon rockets. The restorers applied a specialized metallic finish that mimicked the raw, unpainted titanium and aluminum of those record-breaking days. When the sun hits the wings of the restored 710290 today, it glows with a terrifying silver brilliance. After thousands of man-hours and an obsession with detail, the Eagle was finally reintroduced to the world. It didn't fly, its wings were now sealed, but it looked as though it could ignite its afterburners and pierce the sound barrier at any second. Today, it stands as a testament to the fact that while machines are made of metal and wires, their legacy is preserved by human passion.
Roger that. Taxi via Alpha and hold short of runway
remains the
227.
only jet to have ever landed safely with one entire wing missing, the 1983 Negev incident. And this restoration proved that even when an eagle is dead, it can still be taught to soar in the halls of history.
Duly noted.